That was terrible. I'm Jake. This is Jake Loves Learning. This week I've been teaching myself how to use Adobe After Effects. I want to show you what I got up to this week. I started by doing some of the built-in tutorials that are in After Effects. I didn't record doing any of those because this is not a tutorial. But that just let me figure out the interface and where some basic controls are. And then I decided I wanted to make some sort of animation that can go along with some of my videos, explaining what it is I want to do. So some simple lined paper, some text that would appear, give something visually interesting to watch over something that could be boring. So here I am just figuring out how to put in text and how to move it, and apparently it's a little bit trickier than I thought. I ended up just using arrow keys. So the next thing I needed to figure out is how to make the text just appear rather than gradually fade in. And I did eventually figure this out using all the different options here, figuring out keyframes, how to time them. And this is the way I like to learn, is just experimenting, just trying it out. I sometimes joke that the best way for me to learn is to play with something, break it, fix it, then I learn how it all works, and then I just can figure it out from there. Luckily, I didn't actually break After Effects. It took me a few minutes to figure out how to make the animation longer. Then I remembered what I learned in the tutorial to change the time of the composition, is what this called in After Effects. So I did some experimenting, and here it is. The text is just appearing just like I want it to. Now I wanted to add something that was probably a little cheesy, but I just wanted it stamped up here and then make it look like it's stamped on my logo. So this helped me learn how to use the positioning and how to time the keyframes for positioning things on the animation. Then I grabbed my logo, realized it looked like terrible, had to go get a different one with more pixels. and then try to get it to line up, make it look like it had actually been stamped. Doesn't really work, but I kept going with it because I wanted to figure out how to make things move. Then I just used what I had learned with the text and just made my logo appear as the stamp came in. Then I decided I wanted to try exactly what everyone thinks of when they think of visual effects. I wanted to put an explosion into a video, just to give it a shot. So I found some stock footage of an explosion and figured out, using the positioning and what I had learned when moving the stamp around, to try to get that explosion to look like it was in the same spot as the camera panned around. And the video I'm using is just some footage I shot of a field, which is just north of where I live, because it looked pretty good on that particular morning. So I'm trying to figure out how to move things around, and as it's going out of frame, I keep ending up panning the camera around, and I couldn't figure out why it was panning if I was on the edge of the film. Then I remembered I'd actually filmed this in 4K, and since it was just 1080 here, as I moved, it was actually more off to the side that I wasn't seeing, so I had to reframe it and had to figure out how to reframe something. And there we go. Now it's at 1080, so when I go to the edge, it's not going to pan the frame around. It's going to stay where it is. So now I can try to keep it. I'm just trying to keep the explosion right where those trees are, because those were just a good marker, just to play around with keeping something. Then I messed around with trying to get it to be shorter. I put it to 19/60ths of a second rather than 19 seconds. And then there it is.